Yo, what's good? This your boy, Big Daddy Kane. For those that can spell, that's the BIGDADDYKANE. And right now you're checking out Jigga Juice with Toma Gersherman. You heard?
Okay, and now I would like to say hello to the one and only Big Daddy Kane, right here on the phone with me. How are you, Big Daddy Kane?
I'm great, man. Everything is good.
That's great to hear. And man, again, it's such an honor for such a legendary MC to come here on the show, and that does mean a lot to me. So thank you for being here.
No, not a problem, man. I know it's not that easy for me to get to you, so at least we can do it, but this way.
Yeah, exactly. And you've been doing this for such a long time. But who were your influences when you were growing up?
When I was a kid, I was like real heavy into like Marvin Gaye, Barry White, Isley Brothers until hip hop came along. Then once hip hop came along, I started off like as a real big Melly Mel fan. But then once I heard the Cold Crush, it was like Grandmaster Caz just became my hero.
And how soon after did you become a rapper?
Caz, Caz and Mel, they've been around, since the beginning of, hip hop. But I started rapping in '82, but I didn't get a deal until '87.
Was that when you clicked with the Juice crew?
Exactly.
How did you click with them?
Well, what happened was I met Biz Marquis. Like, we had a mutual friend from Long Island. Like a friend of mine who used to live in Long Island, he knew Biz, and he introduced us, and we met in front of his store, and, that's how we became friends.
And you had a little battle right there at the mall, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we had a rap battle at the Albee Square Mall.
And what was it like back then, the competitiveness in hip-hop?
Well, to me, I think that's the thing that kept you sharp and on your toes, knowing that, at any given time, someone might come up to you and ask for a battle. So it had made MCs really write and try to write, a lot of great lyrics just to be prepared with, when something like that might occur. Then also, it made you real competitive. So, you weren't really, looking for the hit. You were more looking to be recognized as a great lyricist.
And make a name for yourself as a lyricist.
Yeah, as a lyricist.
And did people get confused by a guy like you who could rap circles around anybody, but then also had that smooth side, that R&B, the dances and whatnot?
Of course, it's confusing because people tend to think so one-dimensional, but it's like if you really study the art and study the origin, you will see that people like Grandmaster Caz was a DJ, a rapper, and a breakdancer.
Yeah, and
so you had people that, did different things. Like, you had Spoonie G, who was probably the first MC to ever spit gangster lyrics on a song. I'm not saying he's the first gangster rapper, but the first MC to spit gangster lyrics on a song. Talking about when I shoot, I'm roll the barrel, keep the bullets still, and when I shoot my shot, I'm going to shoot to kill. And, all that stuff Spoonie said. And then he turned around and make a song like Love Rap or, the Big Beat, where he's talking real sexual to a girl. So this is something that, a real MC that studied the craft and the origin is all part of the game.
Yeah, and you see today too, guys like Anderson .Paak who raps and then all of a sudden he gets on the drums and starts rapping as he's drumming.
Yeah, great.
And, you recently said...
I like to see that.
Yeah, it's he was on one of the Tonight shows or the late night, the late show, and he was doing that, and that really blew my mind. This guy is like really skilled. As for you, you recently said that you regret not updating your style back in the 90s. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, I guess like, you know, like around the time of Prince of Darkness and Looks Like a Job for, like my last two albums for Warner Brothers. You know, it's the type of thing where we were making music, and especially Looks Like a Job for, where we went in and we got all the top producers like Trackmasters, Large Professor, Easy Mo B. And production-wise, we had a great album. And, you know, it didn't really do that good. But then, you know, when I listened to the album and started listening to other stuff that was out at the time, I realized that the production wasn't the problem was me. Because it's like, you know, as a lyricist, I'm writing rhymes, and people around me, they're listening to what I'm saying, and they're used to hearing me rhyme a certain way. So to them, what they're hearing is incredible. But to the rest of the world that's toned their ears to the new artists such as Method Man, Redman, Nas, maybe even Biggie at that time, you know, it was a whole different way of flowing. Cats were, you know, the weed smoker era where cats were more behind the beat instead of on top of it going fast. They were behind the beat, slowing the pace down. You know, so that was something that I wasn't doing. The lyrics was there, the flow just wasn't there.
And everything.
The flow was outdated.
And I guess also everything that was happening on the West Coast at the same time.
Well, I mean, you know, yeah, West Coast, but East Coast was still strong as well. You know, I mean, Redman, Wu-Tang, all these cats were still popping. So I'm not going to blame the West Coast for any of that. You know, they had their own sound, their own unique style that was working for them. I don't think that had anything to do with it.
You were one of the first ones to discover the talent of Jay-Z. How did the two of you get together?
We met through a mutual friend. These guys that used to do the graffiti sweatshirts back in the days called the Shirt Kings. One of them asked me to do a mixtape with Jazz-O. And, you know, when we went to do it, Jazz asked me, could his man rhyme on the tape? And his man was Jay-Z. So we made the tape, and after we got through, the guys from the Shirt Kings was like, you know, Jazz is not with EMI no more. You know, he's looking for a new deal. We was wondering if you could help him out. And I said, well, to be honest with you, I kind of like the skinny, light-skinned dude better. I'm like, let me link up with him.
And did you already know back then that he was gonna blow?
You know, to be honest with you, I really wanted the best for Jay-Z, and I fought to try to get that, you know, try to get him a deal, and you know, just try to show him different things. But did I know he was going to blow to the level that he did? Nah, I did not, because you know, back then Jay was real quiet, you know. So I mean, I mean, it's like, you know, lots of times, you know, as far as an artist, you have to have real strong characteristics and personality. And, you know, I knew that Jay was just a dope MC, you know, and, you know, that was pretty much it. But I'm happy for him. I'm so glad that he blew up. You know, I mean, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, and he pays you the respect. He recently, a few years ago, he brought you out to the stage at the Barclays Center, which was a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know...
Yeah, Jay's good.
And the collaboration of you and Prince has recently surfaced after Prince's death. How did that come about, and why wasn't it released in real time?
Well, what happened was when Prince was working on the Batman soundtrack, Benny Medina came up with the idea that, you know, it would be good to put some rap on one of the songs. So I guess Benny must have discussed it with Prince, and, you know, they agreed that I should be the one to do it. So when I got the call, you know, I mean, the opportunity to do a song with Prince, I was honored, like really amazed. So I jumped on it. And the producer, he flew to New York, and we went in the studio and recorded the vocals, and we did it, and it sounded great. But what happened was Warner Films, not Warner Brothers Records, Warner Films didn't want nothing to do with hip-hop. So they took the rap off.
Oh man, that could have been a classic had it been released
Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, Benny told me that Prince loved it. He said, Prince said, tell him he did a great job. Thank you. And that's Prince. I mean, what can you say? I mean, you don't have to, talk about how good something is. It's Prince.
Yeah. And if he,
story, so I mean, yeah.
And if he approves, you don't need anything more.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you say, someone say, how's the new Prince song? It's a Prince song. Yeah. That's enough said.
Yeah. Speaking of things that came out recently, even though that one wasn't recorded that so long ago, but you did a new feature with Joel Ortiz and an impressive group of rappers. How did that come about?
Well, Joel, he's a good dude that I always speak about and big up in a lot of interviews. And the producer of the song, he knows how much I love, Joel as an MC. And, he had the track and he said, they sampled the drums from Big Daddy Kane and used my voice from Set It Off. So they wanted me to jump on the song. And I was like, okay, great. But it was a time when I had a lot going on, so I never really got around to doing it. And they eventually, they put it out and did a remix. And once he did the remix, that's when he reached out again and said, yo, can you do it now? And I put something to it. And, I think it sounds great, man. I mean, I think that lyrically, me and Joel, really, brought it to the track. And I think that Token, Snow, and Chris Rivers, like their flows are real on point and crazy.
Yeah, really an incredible track, and they also did a very good job with the video, with the animation.
Oh, yeah, using all the horror stuff. That was wonderful.
Yeah. Also, about things you did recently, you helped Macklemore put out this collaboration with Grandmaster Caz, Melly Mel, and Kool Moe Dee, and put them on the track with them. How did that come about? How did they reach you?
Well, one of Macklemore's managers is an old neighbor of mine when I was, living in Queens. And, he reached out and told me what the song was about and the concept, how they wanted the chorus to have that late 70s hip-hop feel to it. So he asked me, did I know any of the, the pioneers in the game that would be willing to do it? And, of course, I said Cold Crush. And then he came up with the idea, well, what about if we can get like three of the main dudes from different groups? So I said, oh, well, then, you want the top three from that era, which is, Melly Mel, Grandmaster Caz, and Kool Moe Dee. Those were the first top three MCs ever, So, I mean, I'm like, yeah, that's who you want. So I gave them all a call and connected them with Joshua Dick, and, the rest is history.
Yeah, and you said that afterwards that you thought, you looked back and thought, why didn't I do that? Why did no one in your generation did that and then brought these guys on?
Exactly. I mean, because it's like, we always see Melly Mel and Caz. Moe Dee was popping because he had a new solo career when I came out, so he had done reestablished himself, so he was still popping. But I mean, like Caz, Melly Mel, we see them and say what's up, hang out at the bar. But I mean, I'm like, damn, we never even thought to reach back to the pioneers and say, yo, jump on this song. So I thought that was a beautiful thing that Macklemore did, because he didn't say, yo, I'm going to go back and, to the 90s and get Nas or Jay-Z, or I'm going to go back to the 80s and get Kane or Rakim. He went back to the origin, and got the first people that, put the stamp on the game.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Macklemore. I don't necessarily dig all his songs, but I really appreciate his attitude towards hip-hop.
Oh, yeah. Now, I think that Macklemore is a passionate dude about hip-hop, And, I have nothing but the utmost respect for him, Music is music, and I think that it's something that's made for any color, whether black, white, Asian, Latin, whatever. Music is for anybody, and even if your music has, that pop sound, I mean, you can't try to criticize or knock that, because don't act like, you didn't like Nucleus Jam on it back in the days, or, Rappin' Duke, or, there was pop songs from back in the days that we enjoyed, we loved,
And, also about Macklemore and, his attitude, it's something that it seems like it's becoming rare in hip-hop, because what you see a lot in hip-hop these days is the ageism on the new generation's side. And, maybe even some disrespect, towards the veterans, and also from the veterans towards them. But what's your take on all of this, looking at it?
Well, I mean, it's like, when I came into the game, I had everybody from Barry White and Rick James to Jalil from Houdini and DMC from Run DMC and Dougie Fresh trying to school me about the industry, what they learned, what they saw. So the generation before me, they was trying to educate me. When I met Jay-Z, that's what I tried to do for him. Source Money, Old Dirty Bastard, Shaheem the Rugged Child, like younger artists that I met, I tried to school them on what I learned from the game. And I think that, that's something that was passed on. But when we entered into the new millennium, I think that because radio and, magazines, there still was magazines at them times, at that time, started separating artists where he's old school, he's new. And so it created this here, like bridge in between artists. It's not a bridge, matter of fact, a wall, where the new generation didn't want nothing to do with the older generation. Like, they looked at like, them dudes is old. They had their chance. We the new dudes. And, I think that probably created a bitterness with some of the older artists, because they didn't feel like they were being respected. And then also, when music changed, it changed in a way where I think that a lot of older artists couldn't relate to, or didn't really understand or appreciate, So, that, even made it, more where, like, a lot of older artists didn't like the younger guys. But it's the type of thing where if they were, more connected, I think it would be the type of thing where someone from the older generation school a younger dude, like, yo, be careful, man. Don't just make some little trendy stuff, man. You got to let them know who you are. Yo, you don't need all them dudes on stage. You make sure people see you so they recognize that you the star. Teach the younger generation so they can have a longer career, so they don't just be one-hit wonders. They can have a lengthy career. I think that's what it's all about. Because no artist is going to stay on top forever.
Yeah,
but Michael Jackson is the king of pop. I don't think there's ever going to be another pop star as big as him. But, the final years of his career, those albums wasn't doing that good. It was just, he's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So nobody stays on top forever. So, it's like a rap artist from my era, or even from the 90s, it's like, you're not going to stay there forever. But so it's like, when the new generation come in, you want to educate them so they can, so you can pass the torch to them, let them get their shine, Yeah. And I think that there was a disconnection in the new millennium.
Yeah, and these days it looks like they don't want nothing to do with them. Like Lil Yachty saying he doesn't know 5 songs by Biggie or Tupac, or Lil Young Dove, going back and forth on Twitter with Pete Rock. So these kind of things, it's kind of hurtful for me to see them sometimes.
It's like this. It's sad, and I really wish that there was a way that the younger generation and the older hip-hop generation could come together just for the sake of preserving the music, keeping it authentic, and teaching the young people how to, showing the younger cats how to have a lengthy career. Because I don't want to see no young dude blow up, be successful, then his next project flop, the label drop him, and he start getting his vehicles repoed and evicted, and now your life, like I don't want to see nothing like that. I want it to be where you know how to, preserve your career and do all the right things. So I mean, it's better when someone who's been through it can teach you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what a wise man does. He learns from someone else's mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I really hope there will be more collaborations. And, some do pay respect. Kendrick, J. Cole, and all of them. I mean, I think they're not among this group who disrespects the veterans and the legends.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, as you listen to them, you can see that they learned from a passing generation. You listen to, Kendrick, J. Cole, even Logic. You can hear that, they learned from, artists of the 90s. They were probably big Jay-Z, Tupac, Biggie fans.
I would love to see more of that. Another question I wanted to ask you was you got back to acting recently when you played in the film Exposed alongside Keanu Reeves. What was that like for you, getting back to the big screen?
Oh, I mean, it was great. I'm not going to lie. I had to shake a little of the rust off, but it was great, Because, I had actually been doing some straight to cable films prior to that. But, it was more of comfort zone films where it was like what they were looking for was something real easy. What they wanted in this film was, a different attitude, so I had, like I said, shake a little rust off, but I enjoyed doing it. I definitely enjoyed working with Keanu. He's very, very professional.
Any chance you think of ever seeing you perform here in Israel?
I mean, I would love to. I mean, as soon as they reach out to my manager and make it happen, I'm there. I would love to.
That would be great.
I love new experiences, and I love, sharing what I do with people that never had an opportunity to see me do it,
Yeah, and there's great hip-hop here too, by the way. I can send you some through your manager if you want. Some through your manager if you would like.
Oh, yeah, please. By all means, please do.
Big Daddy Kane, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No problem.
Thank you for your legacy. Thanks for everything you've done.
All right, man. You have a great day now.
You too.
All right, peace.